Hi there. Okay, so I just wanted to add my two penneth worth about the whole Doreen gate, the conversion of Doreen virtue to Christianity, and just sort of add some of my thoughts on this. I think there are various different sort of parts to this issue. The first one was the extreme public outcry after the conversion. People understandably felt very let down, very hurt, and they vented all over the internet. And I think there are some different points that this raises. One of the points is that regardless of Doreen's path, it's a reminder of the fragility of all of our paths. And I guess nobody wanted a reminder of fragility of all of our paths. We wanted certainty. So I think it comes down to a sort of age-old problem in religion, really, is that we want definitive truths. We all want a definitive truth. We want something that we can absolutely stake our beliefs on, walk away from and go, right, that's my beliefs, that's me, done. I think part of the magic and mystery of life is possibly that none of us are maybe absolutely able to do that. There are some who are. Some people have visions and they stake their entire lives on that pretty much, and that's great. But I think for the most part, for most of us, we have ideas of a something, a tangible goodness, if you like, and we've got various ideas as to how religion or spirituality might work. I know one of the sort of accusations levied against some spiritual people, well, New Agers, is the idea that it's very pick and mix. You know, the New Age, you just take the bits that you like from various different religions, slam them all together in some sort of lovely pink fluffy concoction, and away you go. And I guess that's why various arguments or holes in the area of New Age have come to light, such as the shadow side has been glossed over with New Age religion. People haven't wanted to look at that. They haven't wanted to think about the fact that we're on a planet that expresses duality. So you've got the light and the darkness. And people lately have, you know, there's been a sort of trend towards love and light, everything is love, everything is love. Well, I think probably at the heart of the universe, everything is love. But here on this planet, everything is expressed in duality. So that has to be taken into consideration. I think also there's the idea that religion is very harsh. It's a very harsh energy sometimes, a very dominant, harsh, masculine energy. And that's a problem, especially for anybody who's raised Catholic or just found the patriarchy stifling, who have issues with the Old Testament, I know I do, who just find Christianity difficult, and so maybe they've left it alone. Because I think the more you react to something, you're reacting to it for reasons, and I think one of the things to do is to try and slowly unpick those reasons. You might not do it overnight. It might take weeks, it might take months, depending on how deep you're willing to go, and how, if you're really willing to sit with the discomfort, I think is one way to express it, rather than just vent. And Doreen, and she shouldn't have done this, and she's led people astray, or, you know, whatever their feelings are valid. I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's feelings. But I'm saying let's take a look at your response, because, like it or not, that's what she's done. So one of the concepts it throws up is the idea of fragility, uncertainty. We know we're finite beings, so we want to pin our hope onto something. We want to pin our hopes onto something. We want to give our life meaning. So when somebody has a massive conversion, it makes us look at ourselves. It makes us look at what we viewed as certain. And even for those stalwarts who say, well, that's fine, it hasn't changed me, I'm still going to believe, it's absolutely okay. I think amongst those two, there might have been the odd, just a ruffle of feathers of occasion. You know, if people have asked, is it still okay if I can keep my cards and things like that? And so I think one of the things to think about is the fallibility of the guru. Most figures who set themselves up as some sort of New Age leaders, I'd say probably the majority of them are human, like we are. And it's very, very easy to pop them on a little pedestal and feel very comforted by their seeming knowingness, especially when you've got someone like Doreen, who seems to she seemed to have a direct line to something above, which was enormously comforting for a lot of people. So it's no wonder people are feeling a bit rattled. Then of course there's the courses she taught, the angel courses. So if people taught that, it's almost like Gerald Ratner invalidating his product back in the day. For anybody old enough to remember, he was a guy who ran a jewellers in the UK, and he called his products crap. And after that, his shops folded, his business died. That was that, as you might expect, really. And it's sort of a similar thing. But she's invalidating the product, she's invalidating the dream, if you like, or adding uncertainty into it. And because she's doing that, she's adding uncertainty into you, into who you are, into what you believe, into what's real. So I think in a way you could view it as a positive, because if it's calling you, if it's asking you to question what you've absolutely believed without question, no harm. There's no harm in that. I think any beliefs that are very solid or very very beautiful, very based in something tangible, they're going to stay true. And those with any elements of uncertainty, well, sometimes it's okay to sit with uncertainty. Sometimes it's okay to not have all the answers. That isn't to say stop looking. If you feel called to look and to seek, then seek. But it's a great reminder of the fallibility of the guru, and it's a great reminder that answers are not necessarily always to be found outside of yourself. Obviously in Buddhism, Buddha would say go within to find the answers. They're all there within you. And I think actually that's another point to Buddhism as well, is I think the more that you sort of meditate, you open yourself up to various energies, some of which you might not completely understand. Some people start channeling merrily, don't always know who they're channeling, and it's the point that sometimes people do this when they start to meditate, and then they think, oh good, great, I'm a channel, that's who I am, that's what I'm supposed to do. Or I'm a healer, that's great, that's what I'm supposed to do. And then they can stop there. Their spiritual seeking or their spiritual journey can sort of grind to a halt, or their sense of identity can grind to a halt because they cling on to this title. Oh, I'm a healer, I'm a channeler. Whereas that might be who they are at that time, and that might serve them for maybe 5-10 years, maybe a lifetime. But it's worth remembering that that's still another point on a path. It might be that they aren't going to stay doing that particular job, and they might want to move on, and their path might change. Could such a path do such a seemingly radical turn? Who knows? Who knows? Another element to think about in that sort of, bearing that in mind, I think is just the sense of the numinous and the mysterious. It's a very odd, mysterious universe. You know, the more we're trying to look at it, it seems, the more the fundamentals that we thought we had nailed are sort of slipping from our grasp. So even things like atoms, we thought these were relatively solid concepts, measurable. When you break it down, when you get down to a quantum physics, then things get very peculiar indeed. So there again, there's a sense of the unknowing, you know, there's a sense of things just eluding us still. We don't have all the answers. So I think one of the things to think about then, take a look at yourself. How much time and energy and effort had you devoted into, say, following Doreen, or following other people in the search for answers? How much time were you willing to go within and try and find your own answers? How much identity had you staked on her having these divine or seemingly divine conversations? How much of that had you clung on to give you hope, inspiration, you know? When it comes to her particular choice, another user, another person had posted a video and pointed out that taking a look at various other factions, with it including her husband, what his influence might be, and various other things as well. Is it okay for her to convert so radically? Of course it is. It's all a learning curve. Her motives are hers, and hers to know, and we can all speculate, and that's fine, providing that we then come back to our own journey and come back to ourselves and go, okay, well, that's her journey and wish her well and blessings to her. What about your journey? Where are you going now? What do you believe now? How much can you still hold on to? So I think then, to call it a night, I think I'll sign off in the words of Jack Killian from a 1980s TV series called Midnight Caller that I used to love. Good night, America, wherever you are. Okay, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below if you like. Thank you. Bye.